Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another INART 1/6 scale figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood, as well as Johnny and the rest of the team over at INART, because they were able to secure us some exclusive video footage of their 2019 Joker sets. Now you do have two different options with this. You can either go for the deluxe or the premium version. Premium is a 4-pack, Deluxe is a 2-pack. We'll dive into a lot more detail on both sets in just a minute. Now, I have popped some links to Spec Fiction, if you are after either of the sets, in the description below. The reason why I decided to work with Spec Fiction this time is because securing INART figures outside of Australia, New Zealand, or China can be a bit of a challenge. I wanted to make sure that if you're in the States or anywhere else in the world, you still had a way of getting these. So Spec Fiction, links below, they are affiliate links, full transparency. Any kickbacks will be immediately reinvested back into the channel and put towards making more content. Right, so now that all that stuff is out of the way, what you're looking at on screen is the premium version. It's a 4-pack. Whereas this set, this is the deluxe one. So you're getting Arthur Fleck and the red-suited Murray Franklin show Joker. You're still getting the diorama backdrops, you're getting a ton of accessories, we're about to discuss all of that, but you're not getting the hospital scene Joker, and you're not getting Arthur Fleck from the bathroom scene. For me personally, it's premium or bust, because I've wanted that bathroom scene look for Arthur forever in my display. Do I have room to have 4 Jokers in there? No, probably not, but I sure as shit will be making room because these figures, all 4 of them, look absolutely incredible. So you do get a wide array of accessories, ranging from the everything must go spinning sign that you would technically probably want to pair up with the hospital scene Joker, although you can ditch the white coat, then he's just the street sign spinning version. This looks to be made out of cardboard, and the printing is nice and sharp. Now, he does come with this canvasy material, crinkly looking bag with a real working zipper up on top, and I love that for multiple reasons. Number one, it's accurate to the movie, and number two, you can store some of the accessories that you don't have him holding inside the bag, so you don't have to go rifling through the box every time you want to change a pose. You get his condition card, the little name tag, 4 pill bottles, a marker, magic wand, red nose, photograph, and, exclusive to the premium version, the little hat that you can have him wearing for the hospital scene, so that hat is removable. So too is the clown mask, with the real rooted, I guess you could call it, the fuzzy hair sticking out from either side of it. It also looks like the caps can be removed from the pill bottles. And you get 2 cigarettes, I suppose, in case you happen to lose one. Moving on to hands. So you do get multiples of certain gestures, like the relaxed hands, in case you want to have 2 Jokers with the same sets of hands on them. Although others you just get singles. There's skin texture, there's shading, and you've got the seamless wrists. But you will have wrist pegs for the gloved hands, which are exclusive to the premium version. Now, this display base can technically be used for the red-suited Joker as well, but it's more so meant for Arthur Fleck, I think, because the other display base is the Murray Franklin talk show. Unless you're posing Arthur in there like he's imagining he's on the talk show rather than the red-suited one, I think, at least for me personally, this is going to work better with Arthur. I love the forced perspective thing they've got going on here, with the railing kind of leading up the backdrop that is still 3D, but not as deep as probably some people are expecting, so this isn't going to be a massive depth hog. It's still quite tall though, so make sure you have enough height in the display. On camera, it genuinely looks like he's standing in front of a real staircase leading up towards this opening at the top there. I love the effect and the fact that it's not made of cardboard and it's not made of foam. Looking at you, Hot Toys, you'll always do that with your diorama backdrops. This looks to be actually sculpted, there's tons of texture, like I said, depth, and it's well painted. Let's be honest, if you're doing 2019 Joker, you have to do the staircase as a diorama backdrop. It's a given, I'm glad they did it, and I cannot wait to have Arthur Fleck standing in front of it. Because it puts him in a scene, and for figure photography, this is going to work so freaking nicely. That cutout at the top as well, you could foreseeably put some kind of image up there, like a sunset or something, so you can have him dancing in front of it. You can just add your own flair to it. So Arthur himself, starting off with the head sculpt, I'm kind of lost for words. This looks exactly like Joaquin Phoenix. The detail, next level. He's got a super subtle 5 o'clock shadow, of course, moving eyes, and real wool-rooted hair. The neck does look like a single piece neck, but as you'll see a little bit later, there still looks like there's decent range of motion out of that single ball joint at the base of the neck. I'm not sure if it's going to attach magnetically, we'll just have to wait and see. We haven't even discussed the tailoring yet, which is some of the finest tailoring I've ever seen in 1/6 scale. The way the outfit drapes on the body, nothing is sticking up, nothing is bunching up, and nothing looks out of scale, including the weave of the fabric. That image right there, you can't tell me that that doesn't look like the real frickin' Joaquin Phoenix standing there as Arthur Fleck. So basically, like I said in the intro, deluxe version is Arthur and the red suited Joker, so treat it kind of like a bookend set for his transformation from Arthur to the full-on clown prince of crime. Whereas the premium version fills out the middle of the story a bit more. So this is the diorama backdrop that you get with the red suited Joker. You could maybe use it with Arthur, it is just depending on personal preference. You do have options with this. You can either have it looking like the windows of the Murray Franklin show, or the curtains, which are on a rod so you can draw them, so it looks like you're slowly revealing the background of the talk show, as you can see there. There's a little step up on the left with some actual felted carpet, and the removable seat. So if you do want to take it off, you don't have to have it there. You can have Joker standing on the platform in front of the curtains, doing a little bit of a pose as he's making his entrance. But being able to sit, speaking of poses, in this chair and looking as natural as he does, I can't imagine that was easy to accomplish. INART must have put a lot of effort into getting the tailoring right to allow this to happen so that you don't have anything riding up and bunching, but also the body. This is not an off-the-shelf 1/6 scale body. They are custom and specifically made for this Joker. His proportions are quite unique, so they wanted to capture that, and I think they have. Down to a T. Even those white socks poking out from underneath his trousers, and how the pants are sitting on the body, and how the jacket just falls really naturally over his legs, but doesn't bunch up at the shoulders, and then the same thing with the collar of the shirt that's not interacting with the hair and pushing that up. None of that stuff is easy to accomplish. I am pretty curious to see how it's going to go when I get my copy in hand. Am I going to be able to recreate this pose with relative ease? Or is it going to be a challenge? I'm also not quite sure what they were going for with the pose with him pointing up like that. What is he pointing at? Either way, the Joker himself looks very fierce. That expression with that very stern look about him and being able to pose the eyes off to the side, it's dynamic, it's menacing, but also just really classy at the same time. This could almost pass as a statue for me. That's how realistic this thing looks. Sitting there in the diorama, it perfectly captures that moment from the Murray Franklin show. Of course, if you do switch up the pointing pose. I know this has been a gush fest so far, and I apologize for that. Actually, no, scratch that. I don't apologize. When INART are making figures at this level, I am going to praise them because overall, right now, I'm extremely satisfied with what I'm seeing. So next up, this is exclusive to the premium version. It's the bathroom scene Arthur Fleck. You do get the bathroom tile base, and this, even though it's the smallest base of the bunch, might just be one of my favorites actually. It's simple, it's the magnetic style base we're used to seeing from INART, but once again, it puts him in that scene without going over the top and without needing a massive backdrop thing. They could have done that with like a sink. Yeah, I don't think that's necessary, nor would I have had space for another massive diorama. Keeping this particular base a little bit more simple and compact was the right call, at least in my opinion. So just like the other two Jokers, this is a custom body for the bathroom scene. He's skinny, he's proportionate, he looks very, very realistic. The rooted hair does most of the heavy lifting, but so too does the tailoring. I mean, the socks, without ugly bunching at the ankles, where they'd normally tuck into an ankle joint. I'm really curious to find out what kind of sculpt work they have going on underneath those socks to get everything to sit so flush and seamless. because as we know, Hot Toys does struggle with that. The pants tattered along the edge with the patches and the accurate herringbone pattern on the surface. I don't have any complaints with this bathroom scene version. And the fact that you can pull up the sleeves to reveal his seamless wrists so you can have him in a dancing pose without displaying any ugly wrist pegs, that's just the icing on the cake. You could, if you don't like the creases and wrinkles on his shirt, steam it if you wanted to. I think it adds to the vibe. Arthur was living in a pretty run-down version of Gotham, and we all know how he was treated by the folks in that town. So having him look unkept, a little bit dirty and grimy, a little bit disheveled, that for me is the right way to go. So I'm going to keep him looking pretty much exactly like this in my collection. Although he will be in the dancing pose, because that, I think, is the more iconic look for the bathroom scene Joker. Now, the hair is stylable. You can move around those little dangling pieces on the forehead, because that is one of the benefits of rooting hair. You can style it pretty much however you want to. Although, you don't have moving eyes with this sculpt, because as you can see, dude's eyes are closed. He's in this moment of bliss as he's dancing in the bathroom, so yeah, the eyes are closed, which is another unique selling point for this particular set, the premium version. Because I don't think we've received a closed-eye Joker head sculpt since back in the day with the Hot Toys DX11. I'm not sure why. Joker either smiling or like this, just being somber with closed eyes, or heck, even literally any other characters, as long as it's a secondary head sculpt and the primary one has moving eyes and all of the other features that we're after, I don't see why a closed eye head sculpt isn't something that we do get more often. Maybe going forward, if it sort of works for the character, of course, then that's something that INART can explore. The shirt pattern looks accurate to me. He also has some suspenders on underneath the vest, and the tie, I have checked the screen use prop, and that looks accurate as well. Being able to balance on one foot like that, I don't know if there's any trickery going on here, but if he can do it, balancing on the tippy toe of that trailing foot, yeah, I will be doing that on my copy of this figure, having him in this pose. I've already used this word way too many times in this video. You can put an iconic counter in the top right-hand corner. It's iconic. You can also see that when his sleeves pull back as he bends his elbows, those seamless wrists come into play and just help sell the fact that this isn't a 1/6 scale figure. For figure photography, it is going to look like the real effing deal. Then the articulation in the neck is something that's jumping out at me. Being able to tilt his head as far down and angle it the way it is with that seamless neck, meaning there's a ball joint at the bottom. I said we discuss articulation later and now we're doing it. Very impressive. Usually, head sculpts with the solid necks are just more restricted by design because they bump into the body around the collar area. I'm very interested to find out what's going on underneath the outfit for the neck. We'll just once again have to wait until this guy releases. So, the one complaint I have, the only thing that is just a fly in the ointment for me, is we only get 3 bases, but we get 4 figures with the premium version. Yeah, that doesn't really vibe well. I don't like having figures displayed, I like to call it nude, like this, just standing there randomly placed in the display without the base that really grounds them and sets them in that scene, not to mention adds stability if the magnets are indeed strong enough to do that. So, you get 4 figures, but you don't get a base for the hospital scene Joker. Another simple one would have been fine, just a literal rectangle with the checkered floor, and you could have said that was the hospital, and then he would have been stable, he would have been set in that scene, and he wouldn't have looked out of place with the other 3 Jokers. It almost seems like this was an afterthought, and we know he's not because we saw this on display at Wonder Festival. They've been working on this set for a while, so it surprises me that a display base for Hospital Scene Joker didn't make the cut. Maybe they'll do a revision and add it at some point, or even sell a display base separately, because that's what I would like to see. I want all of my figures with display bases. This is a super high-end set. This is not a relatively low-budget 3-0 figure. They get away with not including bases with this guy especially seeing as the other three have them. We'll move on from this in just a second, I promise. He really did need a display base. So the outfit is kind of similar to the bathroom scene, except you have the checkered suit jacket on, the massive clown shoes, and the hospital jacket. Then you want to pop on the flower, the name tag, and the head sculpt with the big, bright green fuzzy wig. You can add the hat if you want to, it's just entirely up to you. It's down to personal preference. As it stands, love the bathroom scene, love the red suit, Arthur Fleck is awesome. Even though I am going for the 4-pack, because he doesn't have a base, I'm probably not going to end up displaying hospital scene Joker until I can eventually sort myself out a base sometime down the line. He still looks truly incredible, very realistic, the posability is on point, and you do get specific gestures for the hands with the wrists angled, so you can do poses that you would want to put these figures in without having to have those ugly wrist pegs on display. I mean, that pose is perfect to me. I have no complaints at all with how he looks. Very natural and proportionate. That silhouette alone, with the shoulder pads, very 70s style, and now that we've ditched the hospital jacket, this is the sign spinning scene Joker. I am curious how that little hat stays on his head. Maybe it's a magnet. We know INART loves their magnets, so I'm hoping that that's the case so that you can just pretty easily pop it on and off if you so choose. This might be the way that I go, because trying to find a street base will be a lot easier than a hospital scene one. So the premium set with all 4 looks for Joker from the first movie, I'm personally going to go with this. This is like a collector's dream if you're a fan of the 2019 Joker film. Once again, I have popped the links to Spec Fiction in the description below, and for full transparency, they are affiliate links, so any kickbacks will be reinvested back into the channel and put towards making new content. While you are down in the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.